Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Today's video is going to be all about how to create meaningful friendships after college. I know it can be very difficult to make friends after college. I had a lot of trouble making friends, meeting new people after college. I really struggled for like the first year after college, which led to me just being incredibly lonely and really just resenting a lot of things in my life. And my biggest problem is that I would just go to work and go home. I didn't put myself out there. I didn't try to join anything. I didn't go out to new places. I didn't try new things. I didn't put myself out there. And you're not going to make friends if you don't put yourself out there. And that's just an unfortunate reality of being an adult and making friends, especially if you move away after college, which was my issue. So I had moved away after college. Also, the majority of my friends had also moved away to different places after college, and we were all in different areas of the country. And so you need to start making new friends. You need to be able to put yourself out there. You need to force yourself to go out and try new things, because otherwise you're just going to become incredibly lonely, incredibly sad, depressed, and just really kind of stuck in your life. And that's not a place that you should be in. Relationships really add a lot to our lives. Friendships add a lot to our lives. Relationships add a lot to our lives. And so it's really important to maintain those friendships and to put ourselves out there to create those meaningful friendships. So the first part of this video is really like how to make friends after college. How can you put yourself out there to make new friends after college? And what I would recommend you do is think of certain activities that you like. They can seriously be anything. If you like reading, if you like cooking, if you like hiking, if you like a particular sport, to play a particular sport. What's crazy and what I've found is that as an adult, there still are clubs, there's still organizations, there's lots of opportunity to join a group of people and do an activity that you like. Now, maybe if you were like me and you had no free time in college, so you didn't have hobbies, and now that you're out of college, you don't know what hobbies you want, just make a list of different things you want to try, and then try to put yourself out there to go out and meet people and try new things doing that particular hobby. Whatever you do, don't get into this really bad habit that I got into. So I used to go to work, come home, go to work, come home, go to work, come home. I wouldn't leave the house. I wouldn't do anything after work. And then the weekends would come around and I would pretty much spend 90% of my weekend in the house, not doing anything. And you're not gonna meet people if you're just stuck in your house all the time. You're gonna have to leave your house. You're gonna have to leave your comfort zone. You're going to have to put yourself out there. You're gonna have to get uncomfortable. That's all part of it, but it's so worth it. It's so rewarding in the end to actually have meaningful friendships, relationships, people that you can rely on, people that you can confide in when you're struggling and when you're having problems. It's so important to have those relationships. So you're going to have to put yourself out there if you want to start having those meaningful relationships. So now that you've thought of those activities that you want to start doing in your life, there's multiple ways where you can find out how to meet groups that might have similar interests. So one of the really easy ways is to use the app called Meetup. I know there's other apps that you can use, I think Bumble has a friends version of it, so you can meet friends through Bumble. But Meetup is great because it's groups of people doing a particular activity. So you can find hiking groups, reading groups, business groups, all sorts of different kinds of groups with different hobbies that meet up at a certain time every week, and you could just go join. Yes, it is a little bit intimidating because you're just approaching this group that you've never met before, but it's so worth it in the end. And you only have to go once. If you decide that you don't really mesh with the people there, maybe they're not quite in your age group, maybe you thought it was going to be something different, it just didn't quite work out, then that's okay. You don't have to go back to that Meetup group. And Meetup is nice because if I remember right, it's been a bit since I've used the app, so it might have changed since then, but you can actually message the main person of the group, so you can at least kind of know somebody a little bit ahead of time before you go and approach them. So look up different apps. Look up the Bumble app. I've never tried it, but I've heard that it can be a really great option. Try Meetup to meet people. You can also look at libraries and coffee shops for the little, a lot of groups will put up their they'll make a little flyer, put that up on like a cork board for you to read. So look at those kinds of things. Join a workout class. You'll definitely meet people at a workout class or a gym. If you are more social, gyms can be great because you can approach people more easily. But if you're a little bit more on the shy side, a class might be great for you because you'll have a wide range of people to meet up with and join. You can also try volunteering. Volunteering can be a great way to meet people, find something that you enjoy. Just when you do volunteering, try to find something that people in your age group might be involved with as well. So like my mistake, which I started coaching a softball team, a girls softball team, and it was a lot of fun. It was something I really enjoyed, but I was just surrounded by a whole bunch of parents. I'm 25 now. I'm not a parent. I'm not really much of a kid person in general. And so being surrounded by those people, while yes, they were all really nice and we got along, it's not somebody that I would go out with a drink with later on, if that makes sense. So if you're going to volunteer, try to think of different things where you might meet people more your age, where you can hang out with outside of volunteering, or just have somebody like that you can have a good conversation with while you're volunteering. Another good option is through your coworkers. If you have coworkers who are similar age or like certain activities, you can go out with them, ask them to bring some of their friends, because you can definitely kind of steal friends from other people. Not that you're like taking them away from them, but you can definitely start hanging out with them outside of just like being with your coworkers and whatnot if you guys really get along. And there's nothing wrong with that if you get along and you really like the people. There's no reason to not meet people from other coworkers and friends that you have. Another great option is to use Facebook groups. I am in a whole bunch of different Facebook groups for a whole bunch of different things, but there are some Facebook groups for your area, Facebook groups for different hobbies, different activities, different things. There's like a gazillion different Facebook groups, so you can join a Facebook group and at least meet people virtually, and then maybe you'll run into people who live in the same area, or you can join a Facebook group that's specific for the area that you live, and you can meet people that way and then meet up with them outside of Facebook. There's plenty of options with Facebook groups, but that's a really good option to just meet people and then potentially have the opportunity to create a good friendship from that. Ultimately, you're just gonna have to force yourself to not do everything at home. Force yourself to go out and do things that, yes, you could probably do at home, but you're not gonna meet people when you're at home. So home workouts or reading at home, writing at home, drinking at home, like those are all things that you can also do with other people. And so it's time, if you need friends, it's time to start putting yourself out there, forcing yourself to go try out those groups and join those groups. So now that you've found friends, you've met new people, how do you actually make those into meaningful friendships, right? Because I feel like we've all been in friendships where they might be kind of toxic, or they're kind of one-sided, or like you are just like a favor kind of friend, like when your friend just needs favors, you're the go-to favor person, and those aren't always great friendships. You need friendships where you can trust the other person, where you can confide in the other person, and you can have fun and have good times with that other person. And there are a couple ways that are gonna make this happen, and one of those is to take risks. So you're gonna have to take risks to meet people, obviously, especially if you're like super introverted like I am, super shy. It's really difficult to put yourself out there and to go out and meet people. Then you're definitely gonna have to take the risk of joining that meetup group or trying out that workout class and approaching people and asking them questions about themselves. It's gonna take risk. And it's also going to take vulnerability, because to have an in-depth, meaningful friendship, you're going to have to share some things, some personal things about yourself that maybe you're ashamed of, or maybe it's just something you've hidden away, or maybe it's something you're just embarrassed to talk about. There's gonna be those vulnerable moments where you're gonna have to reach out to that person and show more of yourself. And so that's gonna take some risk, but that's how you create those deep friendships, because if you're both being vulnerable and you're both taking risks with each other, you can form a deeper connection and a deeper friendship with one another. The next one is effort and time. Friendships don't just happen. They don't just like blossom on their own. You're gonna have to put forth effort, and you're gonna have to put forth time. You're gonna have to schedule different things to hang out and do things. You're gonna have to put forth the effort of texting them or calling them and seeing how they are and checking up on them. And you're gonna have to put aside the time to have a movie night or to go out for drinks or to go take a class together. You're gonna have to take that time and that effort to make those friendships happen. Because if you don't set aside that time, that relationship just isn't going to go anywhere. It's just going to die off because you're not seeing each other, you're not talking to each other, and so nothing's going to come of it. The next one is to encourage them. So this all comes down to support. We all need somebody who supports us, who supports our crazy ideas, who supports us when we get a job promotion, who supports us when we need to quit our jobs, when something's going wrong in our life. You need that person to support you and just be there for you, to not give advice, to not like try to solve your problems, but just to be there and just to support you and to encourage one another to do great things and to try new things and to be more and to be better. We need those friends out there that even if it hurts you or even if it is hard for you or maybe isn't something that you agree with, sometimes you just need to support your friends. And ultimately, it just comes down to being the friend that you want to have. Do you want a friend who you can rely on, who you can text at 2 a.m. to see if they want to go to Taco Bell? Do you want to be that friend who will show up when things go wrong or when you've had a really bad day or when you've broken up with your boyfriend? Do you want to have that friend who will go out with you and meet new people and who will try new things? Because if you want a friend like that, you're also going to have to be that sort of a friend to them. You're going to have to be that person who will wake up at 2 a.m. to go to Taco Bell. You're going to have to be that person who will drop everything to go over to their house after work because they broke up with their boyfriend and they're having a really rough night. You're going to have to put forth, again, you're going to have to put forth that effort. You're going to have to be that friend that you want to have. Friendships aren't one-sided, and any relationship isn't one-sided. And I know depending on the season, depending on things going on in life, the things will fluctuate. It won't always be 50-50, but ultimately, things should kind of even out, and you should be understanding of somebody else in their situation, and you should just be there. You should support them, you should encourage them, and you should be that friend that you want to have. Those are all my tips with how to make friends and then make them meaningful, make them great, deep friendships. Friends that you could have for years, if not your lifetime. So I hope that this video helped you out if you're struggling with making friends. Do not worry, I was there before. It took me like a good year before I actually started putting myself out there and made friends, and now I'm surrounded by some really great, amazing people. But it was all because of that effort and getting out of my comfort zone and forcing myself to meet new people that was able to happen. So if you're struggling, follow some of these tips. If this does help you out, please like this video, give us a thumbs up, and otherwise I will see you all in the next one. Thank you. Bye. And another option is, really? Your unicorn? Okay, take your unicorn over here. Take your unicorn over there. Okay.